Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the sometimes confusing language of corporate filings. Today we're diving into a proxy statement from Trac Incorporated. No, it's not a company that makes tables, it's actually in the casino gaming industry. We will be looking at their annual meeting. It might sound boring, but hold on. There will be interesting things about executive pay, who is on the board, and who owns the company. So let's get started. First off, what's a proxy statement? Think of it as a guide for stockholders on how to vote on important company matters. Trac's having their annual meeting in May. Stockholders get to vote on things like electing directors, executive compensation, meaning how much the executives get paid, and even picking the accounting firm. One of the main things to vote on is who gets to be on the board of directors. These are the people who oversee the company's strategy and performance. The nominees include Chad Hone, who is the founder and also the CEO, William Martinez, Thomas Martins, and Andrew Berger. These guys have different backgrounds from law enforcement to finance. Chad Hone is the big boss man, the founder, president, and CEO. He's been with the company since the start and knows the ins and outs of the gaming systems world. Thomas Martins brings the finance knowledge, a certified public accountant. He has plenty of experience and also serves as director in other companies. Andrew Berger is the newbie to the board since last year. He brings some business expertise and consultancy services. Now for the juicy part, how much the executives are making. Let's look at the summary compensation table. This table shows how much the top executives made in 2024 and 2023. Chad Hone made about $328,000 in 2024. Randy Gilbert, the CFO and COO, made around $290 including a bonus. It is worth noting that executives can also be compensated with stocks. These are called equity awards, and sometimes the company grants stock option awards. Moving on, there's a pay versus performance section. It might sound complicated, but basically they try to see if the top executive pay matches with how well the company is doing. The numbers show the compensation of Chad Hone, the CEO, and also other top executives compared to the company's performance, measured by things like stock returns and net income. For 2024, if you invested $100 at the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, you would have $112.96. This metric is called Total Shareholder Return, or TSR. In 2023, if you invested $100, you would have $1114.55 at the end of the year. Net income shows the overall profitability of the company. In 2024, it was $1,176,420 In 2022, it was $1,620. It was $1,624,453 Net income has been decreasing since 2022. The proxy statement also covers corporate governance, which is about how the company is run. It talks about the board of directors, how they're independent, and the different committees they have, like the audit committee and compensation committee. These committees make sure the company is doing things right and that executives are paid fairly. Thomas Martins serves as the chair of the audit committee. It also mentions that the board members need to be independent. This means they do not have close financial ties to the company and are able to make unbiased decisions. Another thing in a proxy statement is who owns the company. This section shows how many shares the big bosses, directors, and major stockholders own. Chad Hone, the CEO, owns a big chunk with over 1,173,700 shares, or 25-30% of company, called Zeph Capital also owns a significant percentage. Here's something interesting. Stockholders get to vote on whether they approve of how much the executives are getting paid. It's not a binding vote, but the board of directors takes it into account. This is often called a say-on-pay vote. In the previous meeting, the stockholders voted to vote on executive pay every 3 years. This is something they can vote on again to decide if they want it to be every 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Lastly, the proxy statement asks stockholders to ratify or approve the appointment of BOE as the company's independent accounting firm. This is important because the accounting firm checks the company's financial statements to make sure they're accurate. The fees billed to BOE in 2024 was $117.15. Also, the proxy statement explains how stockholders can submit proposals. Basically, if you have an idea for something the company should do, you can submit it in writing by a certain date. It also talks about the company's right to vote for you if you don't submit by a specific date. The bottom line is that directors get to vote as they see fit if some new action is taken. So what's the takeaway from all this cable? Trac seems to be cruising along steadily in its niche. They are making money, but their net income has declined slightly since 2022. While revenues are solid and profitability remains, keeping an eye on those executive compensation trends and revenue growth will be key for investors moving forward. I would say that it's a pretty stable company. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more corporate decoding.